Thank you so much for the panel to kickstart with the cross-chain related stuff. And as Charles has mentioned, many of you bring it to Asia. And the next one, we're actually going to welcome the folks that come from different regions of Asia, Vietnam, Japan, Thailand, as well as Singapore. So next, we're going to welcome Professor Wen to lead our Asia panel, together with Sota from Astar, Hu from Pendle, as well as Sanjay from Cryptomind, and Thanh from Coin98, to share the perspective on different regions of Asia.
Thanks a lot. I feel the energy in the room, so I have to speak louder in order to be have the panelists to be heard by their audience. So this panel will focus on the Web3 and blockchain in Asia Pacific. So I'll have each of our panelists to have a quick self-introduction of yourself and your company. And then I will pick up from there to ask some questions about your business, about what's going on in the main market you have been playing, and also what, probably in the future, what you see you want to happen in Singapore. So start from Sota.
Hello everyone, my name is Sota Watanabe. I will speak louder. And I'm founder of Astar Foundation and also a CEO at Startale Lab. Astar is the largest project in the Polkadot ecosystem. We are making smart contract hub, and we are also recognized as the go-to-market chain for Japan. So we have collaborated with Sony, NTT, Toyota, and so on. And today we got previously Startale Lab, which is our company, received 3.5 million fund from Sony. And we announced that we are going to create Sony chain together today. Excited to be here. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Vu?
Hi, I'm Vu from Pendle Finance. And Pendle Finance is the largest protocol for getting fixed rate and yield trading in DeFi. And thanks for having me today.
All right, I'm Sanjay from co-founder of Cryptomind Group. So at Cryptomind, we do a couple of businesses from advisory, research, licensed by a Thai SEC. So we have 2 licenses, the advisory license and fund management under the brand Merkle Capital. And we own the biggest Thailand community in crypto under the brand Bitcoin Addict, and also have a lab arm which do like venture builder incubation. So one of our flagship project was Guild5 we incubated. So we've been in Thailand building a community since like the early day in 2017. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Thanh. I'm the founder of Coin98. So I started Coin98 back in 2017, building a crypto wallet. We're supporting 70 chains right now. Over the last couple of years, we attract 6.5 million users across the world, and then majority of them is basically coming from Asia. So excited to join the panel today, discussing about growing Asia as well.
Sure, thanks. Maybe also a little bit of background of myself. I'm a professor at the NTU, in short for Nanyang Technical University in Singapore. And I just started a new lab called NTU Center of Computational Technologies for Finance. So in a way, we are working in blockchain-related topics. One of the pilot programs I've been doing at NTU since this year is we launched one of the world's first Master of Science in blockchain. We just launched the first cohort of close to 60 students from all the part of Southeast Asia as well as China and India. So one thing I noticed is across all different these countries and the market, we have really distinguished features or dynamics in terms of the crypto ecosystem. Since all of you guys from different places have played an important role in different markets, I'd like to hear some of your views or observations how different market or different ecosystem have their unique dynamics or characteristics that will make demanding new ideas, a new product in a particular market, in addition to the general crypto market in Southeast Asia. Maybe from Vietnam first.
Yeah, one thing that I've learned, along the way, growing the user base at Coin98, across Asia is that, Asia have very, diversified culture. So everywhere we go, every country have different culture, different set of people, and different customer behavior as well. So building in Asia means you have to have a very deep understanding about how local, how differentiate between different local countries, and then localization is playing a really critical part when it comes to growing in Asia as well. For example, for one of the lessons that we build, if for Vietnam, people in Vietnam is very young. They are willing to take risks, and then it's perfect to for any projects or building product that have high risk, high return, new technologies that might want to attract early adopters. But for people in Philippines, they are more into games, and then people in Indonesia is more into NFTs. So depends on what you build. You have to make sure that the market that you enter is basically have the good product market fit. And then growing in Asia is sometimes it doesn't mean that you have to go everywhere. It's just finding a market that really fit with what you're building and focus on that.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Thailand?
Yeah, so for Thailand, I would like to break down to few key area first. So number one is on the regulation side of things. So we are one of the first few countries that have, I would say, kind of clear licenses and regulation. I mean, you guys heard about Hong Kong, Singapore, right now, Japan, right? So Thailand is one of the first country with Royal Digital Asset Decree. This started back in 2018. And so we have licenses for operator to do brokerage, fund management, advisory, exchange, all sort of business. So you have licensed player there. And then you need to have certain amount of limit that you have to keep all the auditing, reporting, everything according to Thai SEC. So we were quite clear since the early day of crypto, I would say, in 2018, right, regulation-wise. On number two is on the community side of things, right? So if you see a crypto adoption index, Thailand is probably the top 10 in the world. So number 8, according to a report by Chain Analysis. We've been building communities since 2018. You have seen a lot of growth, right? So when you ask about a lot of growth in which sector in Thailand, I would say many sector. Initially we had people around 200,000 to 300,000 people trading crypto. Now it's about more than 3 million plus. According to various sources, right? Look at a lot of DeFi protocol, right? User of Thai metric, top 10 download on MetaMask, top 10 user on a lot of DEX around the world, right? And adoption rate is quite high for local people. And on the third side, I would say on the builder side, right? You see a lot of project coming out of Thailand, whether it's Brand Protocol, Alpha Protocol, Contribution DAO at this moment in time. Also one of the largest bank in Thailand, Kasikorn Bank, also have an arm investing in directly into crypto and Web3 initiative. So I think and a lot of things, right? We're quite active on that space that there's a lot of ecosystem builder from traditional businesses and also from new startup coming up as well. So I would say Thailand is probably one of the hotspot as well.
Sure,
Yeah.
thanks. View, maybe you can share. Now your strategy seems a little bit different. You're actually trying to cover broader Asia Pacific market in the beginning. And so what's your view on this?
Yeah, so from the very start, Pendle is the DeFi protocol. And DeFi, by definition, is the global in terms of the market. So yeah, we didn't really target any particular group of audience. And naturally, our main users will be actually coming from North America or Western Europe. But we do see that at least from the perspective of running our operation in Asia, mostly in Singapore, Malaysia, and some other locations, it's pretty good, at least in terms of operating a DeFi protocol from Singapore, because we have quite a good community of builders in Singapore. We have all these different events exactly this week of Token 2049 happening, with a lot of people coming in to exchange idea and discuss. So yeah, it's been pretty good so far. And even though I can say right now, I would say right now that if the DeFi landscape is largely dominated by still the projects and the users in the US or like Western Europe, but I do see that there's going to be a trend of DeFi adoption going more and more to Asia, especially with the growing of the user growth, the user groups in Asia. Yeah.
Sure, thanks. And Sato, your view from Japan?
Yeah, so crypto Web3 is global from day one. And Astar team, we have a lot of the team member, more than 40 people from 19 different countries. But we intentionally started from Japan. One of the reasons is I'm Japanese, and the Japanese government made Web3 as a national strategy last year. And a lot of the big company really interested in Web3. The reason is Japan used it to be number one, as you may know, like car, electronic goods, and so on. But we completely lost in Web2 ecosystem. Mainly the US was the winner. And we don't have a big Web2 company in Japan. So government and big company really, they think that this is the issue, and Web3 is a new momentum. And this is the reason why they would like to make big successful project from Japan. So even though we still have a lot of the unclear regulation, high tax, and so on, but the sentiment is very positive. And we need a use case to change the law, and the government is very open to talk. So our mission is to create use cases, successful project, inside of Japan and outside of Japan, and then talk with the government and change the law. This is what we are doing right now.
Sure, thanks a lot. Actually, last week I was trading a session by Tarek at NTU. So one of the audience asked him his view about regional blockchain versus the global blockchain practices. So actually, I want to throw same question to this panel. Some of you worked in regional, some of you worked in a global context. How do you see the situation or the future trends, regional blockchain versus the global blockchain practice?
I think there will be regional blockchains, I would say, in the short run. But in the long run, probably some of the top project takes all of the market because winner takes all model. Because blockchain is all about network effect. But in a short term, I think regional blockchain makes sense because the degree of the acceptance of the decentralization is 100% different. Let's say Chinese Web3 is definitely different from US Web3. And Japan's Web3 is different from Singapore Web3. So, a lot of the government, right now Web3 is kind of political. So from the founder's perspective, we should leverage. And we should find the product market fit first and then expand. But right now, Web3 is just too early. Probably only Ethereum and Bitcoin reached to the product market fit. Because right now, less than 1% or 2% of the people are using blockchain every day. So we needed to find the product market fit, and strategically starting from specific region makes sense from the entrepreneur's perspective.
Okay, thanks. View?
So for me, a blockchain is somewhat a community. And what brings people together in this community is something in common. So if you talk about regional blockchain, what brings them together is, the language, maybe the communities, the local communities itself. But we are also seeing more and more people getting together in the community from other elements of like forming an identity. For example, like you can say that there's an Arbitrum community because like people just identify with like the vibe or like the kind of project that happening in Arbitrum. So I think ultimately this kind of blockchain, be it regional or forming around like a chain, for example like Base or like around a company like Binance BNB chain, it will naturally develop as long as the identity for that community is strong enough. But yeah, I also agree with Sota that there will be global, more encompassing blockchains that say have more general kind of purposes and use cases. Yeah.
Sure. Sanjay.
Yep. For me, I share the same sentiment with Wu and Sota as well. But I think like what we're seeing locally, at least in Thailand, right? Like you have a lot of company building their own chain. So in Thailand, you have like about 3 to 4 local chain used locally, right? So I think about the language adoption, the user experience, it's all there, right? But I think in the future, I see everything as interoperable, right? So like whether you are using Ethereum or local chain, right? Eventually it will be connected, and the value accrue will be probably different in the manner it created as well. So I think there's no right or wrong answer, but I feel that there'll probably be global consolidation of the bigger chain, right? But at the same time, you will always also have a more local chain than even regional chain. That's what my thinking is, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I share my view with Sota on this. It's like I think crypto, in like the original concept is basically focusing on a global market. So for some of the chains starting from a specific like local market, they have some kind of local advantage. But it's just like have you to kick off the flywheel and then the network effect. Over times, as you could become bigger, I think like everyone's gonna end up becoming a global chain. And then I think like blockchain itself is a kind of like a playground for people who have common interests and sharing the same culture. And then it should be everyone in the world that having the common interest as well. So it shouldn't just limit it within one country.
Sure, thanks a lot. So I feel the room is full of energy, so I decide to change my plan a little bit. Instead of I'm continue to ask questions, I like to invite some audience in case you have any question for the whole panel or for specific panelists. Now is the time you can raise your hand and ask some questions as well. Yes.
People are shy.
So there is an argument that Asia as a whole is a big market, but there are too many countries in Asia. So the large market is actually very segregated. So how I would like to hear the panelists and Professor Wen's take on that.
So any panelists want to take on this question?
Okay. Yeah, blockchain in general is still very early stage, right? And I agree that, let's say Japanese market is very different from Chinese market, and Chinese market is very different from Korean market, and so on. But we intentionally started from Japan, or some people intentionally started from specific market, because just like how to start a startup, right? So dominate the single market, niche market, and then expand each other. So I don't want to make a Japanese chain, but started from Japan, and let's say Japan is good at gaming and enterprises. So maybe next year we are going to push entertainment or enterprises, and then eventually we're gonna become a global chain. So step by step. So I really understand a lot of the differences in a lot of the different countries, but starting from niche market, in like Japan is big, but niche market in globe makes sense a lot for me.
So I think how we can say categorize a different sub-segment of the Asian market is basically based on the common attributes that the different countries will have. For example, in terms of demographics and in terms of internet access, then say Southeast Asian country and say, for example, India will have a lot of common attributes. And so we'll see like common trends in this in the adoption, crypto adoption in this group of market compared to say like in East Asia where like the demographics and the that's like the different in terms of this different attribute. Then we'll see a different trends, different kind of ways this different market will grow. So in terms of thinking about say growing adoption in a certain area, it will be based on these different attributes of the different market. For example, we can see very clearly that say that's a lot of like the two fastest country in terms of crypto adoption in the world right now is Vietnam and the Philippines, and they have two things in common. They have a few things in common. One, a very young generation, and secondly, I mean, in crypto and DeFi, it's basically a free market. Everyone can have the same opportunities to kind of to make it. And if you think about it, a $2,000 of air job means very differently to a student in Vietnam compared to like someone in the US. And so that's how you can see that this young demographic in, say, the Philippines and Vietnam, and also a large remittance inflow for these two countries will contribute to a very fast adoption in these two countries. So yeah, to answer your question, I think in terms of thinking about Asian market in general, it's basically think about the different attributes of certain sub-segment of the Asian culture and like of the different Asian countries. Yeah.
Sanjay?
Yeah, so for me, I would like to add on to Wu's point, right? Like, I think we have to look at from globalization to localization. So it really depends what kind of project you are building yourself, right? So a lot of gaming related, metaverse related might be booming in Philippines, Vietnam, Korea. Or if you're on the other hand, you're building like more DeFi related, Thai user might be more interested, or even NFT related, right? So it's about like subculture within each aspect of the project that you or sector you're building as well. Because like I think grouping the whole thing as one is quite different, right? Because like each project or infrastructure has their subset of user and their beachhead market that they went to before. So I think that's probably interesting take from my end. But I still think that like the key is also have localization strategy in each area you tap into, right? So I think that is very important because at the same time, when you're doing a global project, you have to attract the local, have localization activation as well, and know, and probably double down on where your user are and try to expand on that basis. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean yeah, everyone's already sharing their voice, and I like fully agree with that as well. From Coin98 lessons, we think that when it comes to strategies, sometimes that you have to really understand how what resources that you have, because of course everyone understand that Asia is very fragmented, culture is different, so enter to Asia means that you have to do a lot of like localization stuff, but it doesn't mean that every startup companies have different resources, and initially it's very limited. So you have to understand that doing localization with like so many countries, it means that you have a lot of headcounts, you have like a lot of different events and like different spending as well. So it's not for everyone. So consider what kind of resources are you willing to allocate into this area, and then based on that, also trying to figure out the best strategies that gonna fit on your resources. Sometimes enter to Asia means that you don't need to go to any specific market. Just follow the global trends, and everyone's still using it.
Okay. Yes, so I can share a little bit of my view. Actually, I believe global blockchain is a global phenomenon. But as anything evolves, always end up between a battle between nature and nurture. Blockchain in its nature is global, but as it evolves, it will be localized, it will be regionalized. And that's what the time we should have the nurture perspective come in through education, which I'm doing, through business and the investment, which HashKey has been doing. So we would like to use the education and business practice or cross-border business to actually bring back this global phenomena. So it's always this battle between nature and nature at one point. Nature is going to proceed at one point. We have to rely on the nurture to bring back this nature. So that's actually my little bit view. So that's why 2 years ago, actually last year, I decided to work with the local industry as well as the government to actually form the, if not the first, at least one of the first master program in blockchain, specifically focused on the technology talent development. So if any of our friends here, you would like to send your employees or your friends to formally study blockchain technology, feel free to go online, look for Master of Science in Blockchain from Nanyang Technology University. A little bit of my airtime. And also, we work close with Denzel at HashKey to promote the talent development, not only just for NTU, for Singapore as well as for the whole ecosystem. Through this nurture practice, we hope to bring back the global perspective. And it's lucky actually Vitalik offered to be the advisor of the programs. Actually, we have this global perspective in the beginning, so I hope that give the audience some perspective as well. And I think we may have time for one more question from the audience, in case you have one. Okay. No? Don't be shy. Although I'm a professor, I will not grade you for sure. Okay, since I say you may have a question. Sure. Okay, ask or no ask, you still get the dinner tonight. I believe. Okay, so actually my last question will be, I would like to hear at least one successful product each of your company has launched for either for your own market or for the market in Southeast Asia. And what's your fundamental logic of launching that product? And that will be actually a good learning point for the audience to actually look up to. Maybe I can start from Vietnam.
I think like my key point is still, so like finding the problems and then just focus on building a product that's solving the problems.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, like, is it a quick one or can be a bit longer?
You can take some time. We still have
Okay.
roughly 5 minutes.
Okay, so probably for one of the product we launched was asset management arm. Basically, how it started was quite funny, right? Because like when we started investing in crypto ourselves, our friend asked us, I want to give you some cash, can you invest for me, right? So then that's where the starting point is. So I think it's important to look for the first paying customer, right? So we actually had like a first paying customer for this product without even having the licenses, because like they all wanted to like, they believe in us and like they want us to like take care of their money, right? So and then that's where we kind of started, and then we applied for the license from the Thai SEC, and then eventually it launched into a product like called Merkle Capital and Elprem Capital, which is more like a fund management platform where people can invest in crypto, and they have the RM, relationship manager, take care of them, and like investment consultant to consult them on like market timing, entry and exit. So I think probably like looking for the product market fit and scaling at the right time, and also with the right personnel as well and resources. Yeah.
Sure. Thanks.
Okay. So to add on to the points about finding a product market fit and solving a real problem, is to have a very quick iterative improvement on your product in a feedback cycle, a short feedback cycle. So it's something along the lines of like you assume something about the market, about the users, about what you're trying to build. You build something based on that hypothesis, and you should have a way to get the feedback from the market, from the users, to see where you should do next. And if you keep doing these cycles repeatedly, you will get somewhere. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. We are making Astar network, which is the largest layer 1 blockchain in the Polkadot ecosystem and the go-to-market chain in Japan. And one of the key successful factor for us is community. So Web3 is all about community. The best tech does not win. Mm-hmm. Even though, if you use the best tech, it higher possibility to win, but community matters the most. So think about community, listen to the voice, and let token holder involved in decision-making process. So community-driven approach is the key successful factor.
Sure. I can share the logic why we start this master program. So actually it started with a little bit of conversation with the ecosystem, and then I went to MOM in Singapore, asked them from July 2021 to June 2022, what are the total number of job posts in Singapore that with blockchain as a keyword. I was told there was 15,000 jobs on the market. And I did my calculation. Among all the computer science graduates from the 5 universities in Singapore, roughly is less than 4,000 candidates. Assume even 10% of them go to blockchain. We are far below what the market needs. Also, further look into the data. Among those 50,000 job job posts, at least 5% of them requires master and advanced degree. And the average pay is $7,000 or $8,000. I think that's a market opportunity. So that's why I work with the government studies master program. So I see my time's running up. So with that, I'd like to thank all the panelists to share their stories, and also all the audience ask questions. Okay, so I have time? Okay, so I misread the sign because I see someone wave in the back end. I still have a couple of minutes. So actually, I continue my story. So I started this master program. First cohort, we received close to 1,000 applicants from all over the world. And we raised our number of intakes from initially 35 to 60. And so actually we have 58 students join the class. And if any of you guys want interns or like capstone, you want to sponsor capstone project, I have my capstone project director here, Tim. Are you here? Oh, I saw him probably walk outside. You can talk to Tim Wu. So he's the capstone project director to work with the industry, place our students to the industry for the capstone project. And so we hope by working with the ecosystem or the players in Singapore, we would develop a new generation of technologists for the local industry. With the 5 minutes left, I probably have just one question or one request for each of panel. Share your final thought for this panel. Start with Sota.
About this panel. So yeah, I learned a lot because I'm from Japan, but I also would like to understand what's happening outside of Japan. So understanding each market is very important to do a global business, but think about the local market is also important. So my takeaway is think about the balance between local and global. Yep, thank you.
Thanks, View.
Okay, so my final remark is that right now we can see that there's not a lot of DeFi adoption in Asia compared to the rest of the world, but we do see like growing trends of young people very hungry for success in Southeast Asia and Asia in general, trying more DeFi adoption and things like that. So yeah, I just hope that we will see more DeFi powerhouses in Asia in the future, and Pendle hopefully to be one of them.
Thanks. Sanjay.
So I'd probably say for me, most takeaway is that a lot of builders are in Asia at this moment in time. So I think we have quite a few advantages and headwinds going our way, right? So I think we have to grasp it with both hands and probably build in the bear and rise in the bull. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, and then for me, I think Asia has been known for a very good market for retails. But I think I haven't seen a lot of Asian projects coming out from this area that really contribute a significant and becoming a kind of core legals of what we have right now in crypto. So I hope that in the next bull market we're gonna see a lot more big projects coming out from Asia, and then they becoming one of core contributors to whatever next innovation happen in crypto.
Sure, thanks a lot. With that, I will conclude this session, and thanks Denzel and Hash to organize this fantastic event for us to share our perspective. Thank you.